Hey, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, to you, the individuals, part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Track Highlights here on the OMSR. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Talking college football selection show. Just briefly, just giving you an intro as to the clips coming up and the whys and wherefore. You see from a few of the Pi Kappa, Alpha, House Sweethearts, U of U Chapter Alpha Tau giving you props. Dwayne, Darnett, ultimate sports fan, OMSR mascot, still sporting the Red Sox beard, graphic from the channel, and Kim Pock, the oracle to the sports gods, 25-5, after the Florida State Clemson question. Haven't had any time to ask him a question since then. 1,300-year-old Buddha in the Angkor Wat style. Alright, just a reminder, sponsor of this show is the DMCA. Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Covers a fair use standard, thumbs up, minimal use, and derivatives. That's all the video highlights courtesy to ESPN. And the semblance of the five of them, two separate crews. They're on college football final and college football Thursday night and so forth. Everything else, the OMSR. Alright, so just briefly. Don't have a whole lot of time for a quickie sport rant of the day. Parts 1 through 3. 2, 3, and 10. I got some screwed up notes here. Bear with me. The Russell Bowl. Russell Athletic. Miami versus Louisville. Arizona versus Boston College and a bunch of others. And then number 10, Oregon. Do a little bit more commentary, versus Texas. Then on number 10, we got Las Vegas Bowl. Fresno State versus USC. Part 2 coming up. For more bowls, notable moments from the BCS era. Of course they had to do that because this is the last of it. And then more bowls, lesser tier bowls somewhat. And then the non-BCS bowl, best to look forward to. In part 3, 6, 8, and 9. Upset alerts in the bowls. The Capital One Bowl and a little bit more analysis on South Carolina versus Wisconsin. In part 9, then the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma State, Missouri. Part 4, number 1, Florida State Auburn. Pollock's running his mouth off. Part 5, Part 7. Who wins the BCS based on the panel's predictions? Alright, so actually I need that. It's funny it came back to me. It's like, wait a minute, I need that. Biggest losers in this. It's either Louisville or Oregon. Oregon playing non-ranked Texas, number 10 Oregon. Louisville, having lost only once, playing non-ranked Miami. This is the problem with the bowls other than the BCS era. Who gets to play for the national championship? Remember back in the day, this is the quickie sport rant of the segment. Back in the day, and I'm talking back in the day, not too long ago, frankly, it was the second, if no more than the fourth Big 12 championship. Kansas State, number 2, Michael Bishop led. They lose their last game. They end up playing a 6-6 unranked team in their bowl game because they lost their last game. Why is it, and this will still be a problem in the playoff system, that he who loses last gets penalized the most? Alright, so that's what's coming up. Thanks for watching throughout the year. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Later days, more signature plays.
Vizio. Enter for a chance to attend the BCS National Championship game at Vizio.com/BCS Fan Throwdown.
Purely for informational and entertainment purposes, comrades in arid regions at the Las Vegas Superbook saying that these are the favorites in the BCS games, Rose, Fiesta, Sugar, and Orange. We told you about the national championship games. Stanford, Baylor, Alabama, and Clemson are favored. Baylor and Alabama by double digits. So let's see who you guys think is going to win the BCS games. Let's start with the Discover Orange Bowl. That'll be Clemson and Ohio State. Who wins it?
Ohio State wins quite easily.
Quite easily?
Quite easily. I don't know if it's going to be quite easily. I like Ohio State winning this game as well. I think they're going to be motivated to play, and I think that offense with Braxton Miller and Carlos Hyde will be too explosive for Clemson's defense to handle.
Do you agree Clemson's defense is better than Ohio State's?
Yes.
I do. I think so, too. And I think that Taj Boyd and all the weapons he has will make plenty of plays against that Ohio State defense. I think Clemson wins.
You know how I feel about the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes win this game easily.
You love them. Yeah.
Wow.
Stop the presses. I got a scoop.
No.
First picked Ohio State.
You know what? It just means that he's fair and he evaluates teams on their merits. Just because he doesn't agree with you doesn't make him wrong all the time. The All-State Sugar Bowl, Alabama and Oklahoma, these two teams getting together for the first time in a little over a decade. Who wins it?
I think Alabama. I think Alabama would be the favorite if they played anybody in the country, including Florida State or Auburn again.
I think Alabama's going to win, too. I think Oklahoma's going to be too one-dimensional on offense. They won't have a potent enough passing game, and I think Alabama's going to find big plays on offense. Too much balance on that side of the ball.
Whamma jamma, yellow hammer. I don't think it's going to be that pretty. I think Bob Stoops talked about defenses in the SEC not being that good. Didn't he talk about this all season?
Yeah, he said it was a little jab because
I think Nick Saban's defense will give him a good jab or two, and I think they'll take care of business.
I'm picking Bama in this game because I think A.J. McCarron's been a winner his entire life. He's going to go out a winner.
That game's on 8:30 Eastern Time, January 2nd on ESPN. The other game, Tostito's Fiesta Bowl, it'll be Baylor and UCF. Both of these teams on the big stage like this for the first time. Baylor's a heavy favorite. Who wins it?
I pick UCF. I think they're underrated. I think that nobody gives them any respect, including the other members of this panel. I think they're going to go out there to prove something.
I have a house in Orlando also. But I'm picking Baylor in this one. There's going to be a lot of points scored. At the end of the day, there's just too
You're ready for the toilet paper on the trees
for
tomorrow.
Baylor and quarterback Bryce Petty.
I think Central Florida can score points. I don't doubt that. But the thing that they've done is turn the football over too many times. Bryce Petty and company, they don't do that very often. Tevin Reese comes back. They're a little bit more healthy. I think Baylor wins this game pretty easily.
I think our friends in the desert at 16.5 didn't have it quite near enough. I think Baylor wins this game by about 30. I think it's not going to
30.
I think they're going to score probably 50 to 60 points in this game, and I don't think UCF can score more than 20
Okay, you
points.
got Notre Dame, got Ohio State, now you got UCF. They're in major school. You go visit.
I think it's going to be close.
How many times they scored 60? What, 6, 7 times this year?
Yeah. They do it in their sleep. I'll give them that. That is New Year's night, 8:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. It will follow the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio. The 100th Rose Bowl game is going, if you like old-fashioned football, tough-minded defensive football. Stanford and Michigan State. Stanford about a touchdown favorite. Who wins it?
I'm going with Stanford. I think the West Coast team has the advantage, not only in fan support and the media and everything else. I think it's just harder for a Big Ten team to go out there and play exceptionally well. Plus, until somebody beats Stanford, I'm convinced of them. I just think their physicalness on offense, defense, the way they run the ball, and if Kevin Hogan plays like he did the other night, nobody goes.
It's a big game for the perception of the Big Ten. You know, they're 3-9 in Rose Bowl games in the BCS era. They've only won one Rose Bowl since 1999. I think Stanford's going to win this game, though. I think their defense will outplay Michigan State's defense, and I think Stanford, as the game goes on, will impose their running.
You know what? The thing I've seen with Stanford is they're the bully, right? They like to knock people out. They've played a couple teams that are kind of the bullies themselves, like USC. They're physical. You see, Utah's one of the biggest offensive lines in college football. They lost. I think Sparty pulls it off. A lot of respect for Michigan State. A lot of respect for Connor Cook this past weekend, what they showed me. I think Sparty wins the game.
I think Stanford gets it done because they're battle-tested. They played better teams throughout the entire season, and they're better on both sides of the ball in the trenches. I love Michigan State's defense, but I just like Stanford's offensive line, the way that they come out, and they establish their offensive line, their credibility right up front, and the way that they run the ball.
It's like a bunch of Mark Mays out there.
How many pounds?
2,300.
Very good. Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio is New Year's afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 on the West Coast. And 5 days after that, in the same stadium, the BCS National Championship game, Auburn and Florida State. You know, Florida State's about an 8.5-point favorite. Who do you think wins it?
I'm going with Auburn. I think Florida State's a better football team. I love Jimbo Fisher. I think their staff is great. So if somebody beats the SEC, I am going to go with the SEC team.
I'm going to go with Florida State right now, and I reserve the judgment to change this as we got 29 days. But I'm going with Florida State right now. I think both teams are going to score points. I like Jameis Winston. I love the balance on offense for Florida State. And I think 29 days is big for this athletic defense to try and find a way to slow Auburn down from running.
Auburn's got a horseshoe. They've found ways to win ball games, and it's almost like you doubt them, they find ways to come through. I just think that, I don't care if Florida State was playing Alabama, you said Alabama would be favored. I think Florida State is the best team in the country. They're the most complete, they're the deepest. I think right now I think Florida State's going to win the game.
I think Florida State's going to win the game, but it's still at this point it's a fluid situation. We've got a lot of time left, and Florida State's just balance on offense, running and throwing the ball. They've got a great quarterback in Jameis Winston. Special teams, defense, they're right up there. So we still have a lot of time left, but at this point, I'm going to say Florida State.
You see what we're all doing there? Buying ourselves.